Hello, my name is Jay, and thank you very much for joining me today and taking a little bit of your time to, watch this video. So today I want to talk about the Ryzen 3000 Threadrippers. Now, CES is coming around, and at the time of this video, it's a couple days away, and I've got my calendar marked for the big announcement from AMD. And I want to take today's video to do some speculation. And obviously, speculation is a little bit difficult, especially when you're getting a really important announcement that will decide kind of the fate of how accurate the speculation is. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to talk about we're going to talk about the Ryzen 3000 series. I'm going to have a little short segment about how this CES is really going to influence these rumors. So if you're unfamiliar, CES 2019 at the time of this video is a couple days away. And obviously with CES we're supposed to get we have a lot of rumors circulating right now about how the Ryzen 3000 series, Ryzen 3, 5, 7, had to count there for a second, and 9 are all coming out and all going to be doubling, if not tripling, or adding cores, a lot of more performance increase. Now obviously that kind of null and voids the original Threadrippers. You now have something that outperforms the original Threadrippers on the AM4 desktop platform. So therefore it raises a good valid question. What are we going to expect for the Ryzen 3000 Threadrippers? And since these Ryzen 3000 Threadrippers are supposed to, of course, be the high-end desktop platform or very, very powerful kind of professional grade stuff, especially since they've really been crazy in the amount of cores they've been doing. They have 32 cores now with the 9900, or was it 2909 W90WX. Big long numbers and names, but they've got a lot of power packed into these processors, which really raises the question, what happens when they double the desktop platform so most of the Threadripper lineup is still put at a disadvantage? So today I want to talk about what I think. We're going to talk about what I think the default specs are going to be for just the whole Threadripper lineup, and then we might speculate about the Intel 3990 WX, which is going to be the super high-end platform. So since AMD has doubled their cores, now the Ryzen 5 has 8 cores, 16 threads. The Ryzen 3 has 6 cores, 12 threads. Rumored, well, keep in mind this is rumors. If this is true at CES, then this whole video is still accurate. And then, of course, the Ryzen 7 has 12 cores, 24 threads, and then the Ryzen 9 has 16 cores and 32 threads, which pretty much means that you get something that's a high-performing gaming processor on the high-end desktop platform, or on AM4. And so now let's talk about the higher stuff, the Threadrippers that are on the Threadripper socket. So the Threadripper, the lowest end, of course, will follow the same suit, I would assume, as maybe the Ryzen 7 as it has in the past. I would assume maybe 12 cores, 16 threads, or 12 cores, 24 threads, or we'd get something along the lines of a 16 cores, 32 threads. One of those will be the base model Threadripper for the 3000 series. Then following that up, I wouldn't be surprised to see something like 24 cores and 48 threads, all on the same, probably the second tier up. And then kind of the top tier will probably be around the 32 cores, 64 threads, if they follow that same suit. And I wouldn't be surprised to see the 3990 WX support up to 64 cores and 128 threads. If that is true, and there's a lot of problems with that because the 2000 series had a lot of problems with memory sharing, cache difficulties, memory access. There was a lot of problems. I wouldn't be surprised to see that Zen 2 fixes some of those and we actually get a lot more performance out of these processors as well. So if we do see the 3990 WX, if that processor is available, it will either be a 32-core, 64 high-speed or high clock speed processor, or it's going to have a boat ton more cores than its predecessor. And so let's also move on to speeds, because I want to make an important video, or part of this video, talking about that. So the Threadripper has always been known as more of a workstation processor. Yes, some streamers do it or use it. A lot of YouTubers or content creators use it. Sadly, I don't have my hands on one just yet. I have all the stickers. I've gotten a lot of the boxes and stuff, but I haven't gotten my hands on one. So I'm probably going to be upgrading for the AM4 platform when that comes out. So maybe like a 3900 or 3850X or something. I'm looking at that. But if that comes out and we do see the Threadripper with a higher clock speeds and stuff, I really want to take a part of this video to talk about that. So there are higher clock speeds. I wouldn't be surprised to see something, since we're expected to see on the top end of the desktop AM4 platform, we see a 5.1 gigahertz boost clock speed. I wouldn't be surprised to see something maybe like a 5.2 somewhere in the Threadripper lineup. Obviously, with more cores, it's going to be immensely more difficult to go through and, of course, upgrade and get all the cores at a certain speed. So we might see a couple core boosts up to 5.2 or 5.1. But I would assume for the majority, like the 64 core, if that's possible, 32 cores, 24 cores, all that stuff, to have a couple core boost of around 4.7, which is something that I've seen in the past, or we've kind of seen these leaks. That's definitely kind of all throughout the lineup of these leaks. So if that is true, these processors not only will be really good in the sense of workstation, but they'll also be really good in gaming. And since AMD is kind of, according to these rumors, also updating and going through and doing a whole clock speed and core count boost on all their processors, I would definitely see this is definitely within the realm of possibility for what we could see for the Threadrippers. Now, obviously, this is speculation off of rumors, which means that in a short period of time we will know whether or not this video is really worth me putting out there. But regardless, if you're thinking, well, how does this affect me? Well, think about it this way. AMD started with just an original set of processors, and they've kind of gone through and upgraded, and they've taken what the Threadripper had, the 32 cores, and so far the lineup of that, and they've kind of taken the original Threadripper and now moved it to the AM4 platform. I wouldn't be surprised to see this in maybe 2 generations or so, this set of rumored or speculated specs, to eventually reach the desktop platform too. And that just kind of puts more of a burden on those games that do use all those cores, or all that software that does use all those multi-threads and cores, to actually support that and then get using that. And I think that in time, it's definitely the way that computer processors are going, is more cores. I definitely do think that higher speeds are, of course, important, but we're definitely going to see more cores before we see higher clock speeds. And I think it's going to be a long time before we see anything in the 6 gigahertz range. I do think it's definitely going to be possible around maybe the really small nanometers, like maybe 1 or 2, somewhere around there. I wouldn't be surprised to see that. Of course, then we get into issues with electrons jumping over the place. Anyway, that's a long story, but I think that eventually we may be able to see something up to 6 gigahertz, but I definitely think there'll be more cores way before we see higher clock speeds across the board. So thank you very much for watching today. I hope I was able to, I guess, satisfy my speculation. But of course, we'll see what happens in CES. And as I said, thank you very much for taking your time out of your day to join me. And check my channel for other cool tech-related news, videos, reviews, builds, unboxings, crazy stuff. I should do some more of that. But thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.